Only see right here on WUSA 9 tonight. For the first time, a whistleblower is speaking publicly about what they saw at Baltimore's ICE detention facility.
This person used to work there, and you may have seen this viral video that shows just how overcrowded it is. But this worker tells us what they saw goes far beyond what this video shows.
Our chief investigative reporter Flack has our exclusive interview.
We're disguising the identity of a former worker here at the ICE detention facility on the 6th floor of this federal building in Baltimore because they signed a non-disclosure agreement before starting work here, which means they could face legal retaliation for talking about it.
People laying on the floor, head to toe. That reminded me of the pictures that I saw in elementary school of how they brought the slaves from Africa.
For months, this person had access to what our cameras are not allowed to see.
Miren cómo nos tienen aquí. Miren migración cómo nos tienen.
The inside of the same Baltimore ICE detention center showed in this viral video.
Nos tienen en un depósito aquí en Baltimore.
The former worker showed WUSA 9 documentation proving they were employed there.
It was probably day 1 or day 2 that I saw the abuse.
What did you see?
I saw people laying in feces, people throwing up, people laying in urine.
At the time, an ICE spokesperson blamed the overcrowding on widespread flight cancellations and severe weather conditions that made it nearly impossible for ICE to safely transfer detainees to long-term detention facilities. In a new statement this week to WUSA 9, ICE went further, adding flatly, overcrowding does not happen.
Did you witness overcrowding that was worse than what we saw in that video?
Yes. Yes, I did.
But this former worker provided WUSA 9 with what they claim are internal headcount sheets from December, showing conditions worse than in that viral video. 47, 50, and 56 detainees in that same cell, more than the worker counted in the video itself, and as many as 50 detainees in an even smaller cell. A federal class action lawsuit filed last May alleges conditions similar to what this former worker described to us and seen in the video. And when Maryland Congresswoman April McClain Delaney toured the facility last Friday, she said she was disturbed by what she saw.
It is just a horrific thing for us as a country.
This former worker told us on one occasion they showed up to find a detainee strapped in a restraint chair.
And when I asked the guard why was he in the restraint chair, his reply to me was that the mother kept making noise all night.
In its statement, ICE told WUSA 9 restraints are only used if a detainee poses a danger to themselves or others, never for disciplinary reasons, and not for extended periods. Staff are trained in their proper use, and all instances are monitored. The spokesperson also said ICE is committed to the safety, health, and dignity of all individuals in custody. But this former worker told us he regularly saw detainees lying in filth, and treatment of women's sanitary needs was especially disturbing.
We didn't always have sanitary stuff for them if they were having their cycle.
What was the solution there?
They were given diapers.
ICE told WUSA 9 appropriate hygiene supplies, including sanitary products, for female detainees are provided, and that all staff and contractors treat detainees with respect and dignity. But the former worker showed us these screenshots of a group text message in which a coworker complains about the smell inside the facility. Someone messages back, "Smells like an animal house at the zoo." A third person seems to joke, "Goats?"
And that's how I've seen some of the officers treat them and talk to them out of the Baltimore office like they were animals in a cage at the zoo. I'm for the deportation of illegal immigrants in this country, especially those that commit crimes. I've said it when I got hired. I said it in the interview. I knew who I was working for when I took this job. I had no problems with doing my job. I just have problems with the abuse and the treatment of the detainees on that floor.
The worker told us he reported mistreatment of detainees to his supervisors, but nothing was done. In fact, shortly after that,
He was fired, he says, for reporting the abuse allegations. I reviewed his termination letter. It said he was not a good fit for the position. In Baltimore, Eric Flack, WUSA 9.
Boy, tough to see that video, and also tough to listen to those claims being made about the conditions there and how people are being treated.
Yeah, what he described was truly inhumane. We'll be watching to see what comes as a result of this for sure.
Now, we should also point out ICE did tell WUSA 9 complaints of mistreatment or derogatory comments are always thoroughly investigated and addressed, and that allegations that misrepresent ICE are damaging to the brave men and women who serve our communities and those in our care.